It's huge, and really the two major things, of course, are the Tangata Whenua series and Ngati, where, as much as anything else, a method was established, a way of going into remote communities for the first time and recording them respectfully in a way that could engage the national audience. Not being threatening to people who'd never been up about, including Maori, who had been urbanised and cut off from all of that. I mean, we were lied to basically by media. But right up, it was a shock to us to find that there was that kind of Maori world still around, you know. I was told in Wairarapa, in 3 different places, that Maori language was not spoken except in the mountains by old men on ceremonial occasions. I'm running that off my tongue because it was told to us as dogma. It was a straight out state-induced lie. There's no other way of putting it. So once you actually go out and record something like that and bring it back and have the guts to just somehow hang on to it and present it against all the forces coming at you. Well, now John, we all owe John as one part of the team that did that. John's contribution was he told for Mike Scott Smith, and Mike was a lovely man who was a television rep. We got the first one through. It was only meant to be one, and then John fronted up and said to the funders, well, there should be a series here, this is too important, these people, this is a world that's going, or being reborn right in front of our eyes, you know. And he literally said, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it our way. He told Mike Scott Smith, who on the second program came in and got a little bit wanting to make a comment on how it all should be shaped and stuff, and John did one of his little fulminations, and Mike didn't break. He was talking about, you know, we'll show it to you when it's finished, Mike. You know, just don't come in. So John, we don't have many producers like that. They'll go into the funder and say, look, please don't talk to us like that. I can see you having a bad day. We'll come back in a week and we'll show it to you then, okay? All right? You'll be in a better mood then, perhaps? At Pacific, there was a climate of respect for content, and not to try and be fancy different, but to be determinedly doing what is best. You're not following a formula. And now we've got an industry of people telling you the best way to do a script or the best way to make a document. What do you have to do with documentary? There's another expert there doing another one-day workshop or conference, and kind of that was a kiss of death. Everyone said that at Pacific. Everyone said, "Oh, well, they won't do that then." I mean, look at Tony's films. It was the first one done independent. Everything was done in-house, the documentaries. And John lobbied to say, who's one of the forerunners of that, to be able to do production outside. And we were given one off the bottom of the heap no one wanted to do, Tony was, on the Lions Club. And who'd want to do a cutting-edge documentary on the Lions Club? But Tony did, a film called Clubs. And it's got to be, you know, and that was the spirit of Pacific, to take something that was inconsequential and by various ways make it an absolutely landmark documentary. And one extreme is The Ashes, which features 3 women and Sam Neill playing a priest. So to do a film around an T.S. Eliot poem, Ash Wednesday, and then to have the women reading back dialogue that they, so there's an artificial performance thing going on and so on and so on. Was a, you know, fairly very, very adventurous times. I began Ngati in the sense of went out looking for a script. We met up with Tamawhata. We had a TV script which we expanded together. But basically I said to John, look, we've got to do a Maori feature. Let's put it together. And John joined that, and I said, well, we made up rules and things and said, well, for example, the whole commission, not just one representative like cultural advisor, when we go to put this to the community, we want the commission there. They need to see the commission. They need to see the accounts man. They need to see the chief executive. You know, just the first time, then it'll be cool. And the commission did that on Ngati. And John and Crunch and others, Tama, myself, etc. But John hitting the team, and the whole way that Ngati was produced and managed in the field sets a benchmark, and we haven't really achieved that since. In a strange kind of way, John didn't see colour. When it got assertive, you know, I think, as it did, it irritates most people in the industry, and including Michael King. It's all very well to support, as you saw the benefit of, but when it comes to the point where you cannot understand that, then one goes back to one's own culture. So for myself, John did so much to support, but maybe, you know, he didn't, I don't know that one could expect that. He didn't become Maori, so he didn't become bicultural by any means. But I don't know that really is the point, you know. He contributed so much, and we had real troubles later on some Maori things. He may have helped train Maori, but most of that energy was coming from a new bunch of people coming. That was done through Te Manawate. But I was part of Ngāti Apa, and Ted was too, Ted Near, and maybe others that were in the loose circle of artists and filmmakers in Wellington at the time. And John tolerated that. John supported that because it was, as I say, it's as much as socialist side has his feeling for Maori. Being Maori in a modern world was all desperate stuff. I mean, wearing your Ngāti Apa tall badge going down Lambton Quay, we've had elders come towards you and jump across the other side of the road. So what being Maori was way up in the air. And language, no language courses or anything, no recognition in schools. So we were doing a language course here at Ngāti Apa, and all bold and bolshy, you know, just trying to learn a few words, doing mihi and that. And Dave Ruru, I remember, was a major man in Ngāti Apa then, and 2 or 3 others, about 7 or so days, and this bright idea came that we have a Maori language day on radio. And people say ka kite ono or something, kia ora, through the day. That's all the idea was. And, Maori language day on radio. Okay, so the huge hui happening up Waipatu, and up on the Hutt Valley, and Dave was going up, Dave and 2 or 3 others went out there, Ngāti Apa, all 23, 24-year-olds, stood up in front of these gathering of elders, illustrious people, and said, we could do this, hey, to get the language a bit better. And they were virtually kicked off the marae, too radical. So, it's almost impossible to think of the atmosphere at that time. So when you ask what was it like being a Maori with the camera, everybody's negotiating a pretty crazy thing. And we didn't know how to pick the jerks, or who were the truly ones that were going to stick. But in this sense, I'm doing the Tangata Whenua, we're fantastically privileged to meet people who in their own ways and different styles, you know, everyone from Ngoipeparangi to Iwarika. So, and not just meeting them to shake their hand, you're spending a few days in the community and getting to know the family and eating kai together and so on. So, in the Maori sense, it was one heck of an education, you know. And we were all very lucky, including the Pākehā on the team. You know, they've got an ease in the Maori world which most Pākehā in their generation never achieved.